Devastation. We're surrounded with it right here. And who would have guessed, here in Los Angeles, here in the Palisades of everywhere, is devastation on a massive level. We're going to go unlock some of the stories of the people that were affected, the businesses, the healing from this. I'm so glad you tuned in. Let's go explore what happened here in the City of Angels and everything that's next. Come on.
Welcome to the American Dream.
The American Dream.
You're watching The American Dream.
The American Dream.
Showing you the real estate, the lifestyle, the culture.
Let's get this party started right now.
Let's go do this.
It is heating up once again.
We're the Davids going up against the Goliath. Real stories in real neighborhoods with real experts.
The staple of the neighborhood. Can't wait to present it to you.
It's all about lifestyle.
In your community.
That's what this show, The American Dream, is all about. Cheers to your American Dream.
Our very own Marissa Tuer was able to get us connected with Joe, one of the LA leaders of real estate, specifically here in the Palisades. And not only is he a leader, but his own house, his family's home burnt down. And he's going to share with us the story of what's happening in community. We've been driving around, Marissa and I, looking at all of this. It's something to see.
So we're here behind the scenes today in the Pacific Palisades, and let me tell you, it is quite surreal. It is quite something to see in person. Honestly feels like we're on the set of a movie, but this is real life, real families that were affected, a real community. And so today we're chatting with one of the homeowners that was personally affected by the fires, that lost their family's home in the fires. But on the flip side of that, it's also the story of the rebuild, the community coming back together, and the next steps for the Pacific Palisades. So come with me on today's very special episode covering the LA fires. We're really chatting about how many people not only are here, but impacted by the tragedy that has kind of unfolded in LA.
And who would think it would happen here? I mean, we're literally right on the ocean on Pacific Coast Highway. To the left, volleyball courts, the ocean, the waves, the LA's dream. And LA's dream caught on fire. Wow.
Okay, I think I see Joe right over here.
Yep. Hey, Joe.
Nice to see you.
Great to see you. Yeah.
Nice to see you. Thanks for being here today.
Of course.
Well, thank you, Joe, for being open to meeting with us today and sharing a little bit about your story. First and foremost, I'm just so terribly sorry to hear what your family has gone through. So thank you for being willing to share your story with us.
Of course. Yeah, it was a terrible tragedy, but we did all make it out, and you know, we're thankful for what we do have, and that's each other.
Absolutely.
This was my house right here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So they've already cleared it out as well.
They did, yeah. So they've cleared out the house. This is our driveway and our patio area, but everything else has been cleared out except for our white picket fence.
Yes,
Isn't that something to see, Joe?
Yes.
That survived, huh?
You know, yeah.
And some roses.
Some roses, yeah, as well.
It's just that hint of hope that we've been kind of talking about.
Exactly. It gave us hope to say that, you know, this was a very special community, a special home for us. And that's a glimmer of hope that we're going to get that lifestyle back again.
Yeah, and you absolutely will.
And Joe, please, you've been in this community, representing the community. You're a community leader. What does it feel like to see this right now?
You know, I mean, it's really devastating because it's not just my home that burned, but to see the whole community go down the way that it did, that's a lot to take in. And I feel bad for my neighbors and my community. We're a very tight community, but we're only tighter now. You know, it's Pally strong, and we're helping each other get through this. together.
Walk us through that day that the fires broke out, what that looked like for you in real time, kind of just the logistics of, evacuation. Oh wait, this is more serious than we realized. And what did that really look like in real time?
Yeah, so the fire started, I saw it start, I could see it from my office, and I thought that they would put it out. And so I didn't take it very seriously, and it got bigger, but I still thought that it was going to be under control. And it wasn't until I started driving back to the Palisades when I realized that I was being blocked to get to my house. My kids were in the house, our 2 dogs were in the house, and my wife was in the house, and they said they couldn't see anything because it was so much smoke. And at that point I said, grab what you can, get the kids, get the dogs, and get out of there. And so that's what happened, and we ended up meeting up on the road about a mile down. We didn't think that that was the last time we were gonna see our house.
Of course.
We thought that we would be coming back. We thought that we'd be out for 2 days and we'd be back. And this is the house that we were raising our kids in. And we had to decide, where do we go? Of course, we came to realize that really terrible news and that our whole neighborhood was gone. And that community and that feeling that we had, changed. Now, what also happened is we came together, and you see neighbors helping neighbors in ways in which we were a tight community before, but we're even tighter now, actually, since the fire.
Absolutely, I can only imagine.
A lot of these people have not been through this before. Yeah. Certainly the vast majority.
Hopefully never again.
And the vast majority haven't rebuilt homes before. And so this is all new, and everyone's learning together. And I'm glad that I can provide some level of expertise to help people through this.
I love that you're a leader of your community, Joe. I love what you do for LA. It all matters. Everybody's affected. And as a leader, you're a beacon of where to go next.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Joe's story was really touching, and as I look around and I see the community and some of the flowers and the rebuilding going on, well, that's what brings us to Lloyd Fox. Lloyd was able to connect us with one of LA's premier home builders that's reconstructing one of the houses from the Malibu fires back in 2018. It takes a while to rebuild from devastation. Let's go visit with Lloyd now. Come on.
Scott, so we're fortunate today to see one of those properties that here 7 years out of that fire, seeing the rebuild process that so many people are gonna have to go through. And we're meeting with one of the top builders here in LA, very high-end builder, Imbuia Builders, and we get the opportunity to meet with Warren today. So, and I think I see him inside right now. So Warren, unfortunately, we go through a lot of this in the area.
Yeah.
And this isn't unique, but it's a tough process. It's a long process. How long, I mean, we're talking 7 years to get to this point. What did you have to do to even begin to go vertical?
The footings, the old foundation was still in place. They had done preliminary cleanup. So we had to remove all of that and then do recompaction of the soil so that we had a stable base to be able to then go into. The process itself, going through the city, coastal commission, then you got geological surveys, you got civil. There's so many different aspects and so many different players that get involved in it. So it does take a little bit of time, but there is always, an end game in sight. And once you hire the right people to expedite process, it makes it a lot easier. Yeah.
How do you keep the homeowner on the high end rather than the valleys of this entire process? Because I'm sure there's the psychological component that you deal with as much as the structural one.
Right. Well, I mean, the loss of a home is huge for anybody. Then the whole rebuild process, I think there was also just dealing with insurances and getting funding to be able to rebuild. And so he's on board every step of the way, making decisions on windows and doors and type and, style. And he'll be very involved in the finished product too, a product that they're going to understand through the process and then be able to really live and feel in the finish.
And I think you told me they've stayed close to here, right?
Yes.
Because this is home for them.
Yes.
This is their sense of community. So there was no going anywhere else. That probably wasn't even a thought,
Right.
because you want to stay connected to all this as you go through the process.
Absolutely. So now that you have the massing and he can feel it does start getting a little exciting. Now we have to deal with the restrictions we have with the structure as to how we're going to run all the services.
Okay.
And then once that's done, we're closing it up.
Well, can we take a look around?
Please,
Yeah, please.
let's do it. So the view, as you can see, is absolutely stunning. Pacific Ocean at its finest, from Broad Beach through Zuma all the way to Point Doom.
It's not just the view. I mean, you can hear it all the way up here.
That's what makes Malibu so special, huh? California so special. And, well, as I think about what makes it so special, Warren, those people that are watching us right now that have been affected, no matter where their home is, what would they need to know? How do they get a head start on their rebuild?
Right, I mean, you've got to start in process with cleanup. Cleanup's going to be the first thing. So ultimately, you're going to have lab tests done to see if there's any hazardous waste on the property. If so, then you have to get a abatement company to come out and get rid of hazardous waste, and that would be your first round. Then you're getting a clearance from SAQMD, and once you have certification, you can go in and continue with demo and clearing site, taking out old footings, etc. We recommend rather leave your hardscape and keep everything on site stable, because if you are running through the process and it takes a couple of years and there's rainy season, you don't want mud and slush. You want to really contain as much as possible on the site. But there's a lot of people involved in putting something together, putting that package together so that you can submit to the city. And ultimately you get to a point where you're ready to issue and you can start your rebuild.
So it's clear to me that, yes, you're building a structure here, but that's not everything. This location, this community, everything that builds a community. It's great to see this aspect of it, but it's also important for us to understand that people are fully invested in their communities, not just the structures that house them.
Absolutely. That's, it's one thing to build the structure. It's another thing when people are really living in it and getting to rebuild relationships with their neighbors and feel safe again.
Yeah. It's the rebuilding of lives in many regards.
Warren's sure going to be busy with a lot of rebuilding going around these communities. But not just our homeowners affected, businesses were affected. Matt was able to get us connected with Peter Lamden to be able to see what happened for him and his business just opened shortly before the fires, and how is he keeping his doors open and still serving this community.
The recent fires that devastated Los Angeles were some of the most destructive in the city's history. But today we're at the Peter Lamden salon at the edge of the Palisades, one of the businesses that was lucky enough to survive these fires. And he's going to share with us some of the rebuilding process and the spirit that's going to help this community come back together. Well, Pete, thank you so much for having us here today in this amazing, beautiful salon.
Of course. Thank you guys for coming all the way
Really
out.
beautiful.
Definitely some of the best views. Well, what I love is that you were born and raised here in the Palisades, and then you moved into the city. You worked at one of the premier hair salons in Beverly Hills before working your way back home, right, and opening up this salon here.
Yeah, it was, I was born and raised here in the Palisades. I never moved far from it. I was always on the west side of LA, and it was really special when I was able to get the opportunity to kind of take that business I built and bring it what felt like back home for me.
Yeah.
We were able to open up just under 2 years ago, and it was kind of this like awkward amount of time where we were open for just long enough to really see the potential of the business, the area, the clientele, and like get that rolling, to be abruptly stopped when those fires came through about 1.5 years after we opened.
Of course, yeah. And once you got word of those fires, what was that process like for you as a person, but also as a business?
Yeah, so we were here. We were working the day the fires started, and you can tell we obviously had a kind of front row seat to it. So we started getting the alerts on our phone the minute it was reported, and I just had a feeling immediately. We watched the fire build for about 15 minutes before it was really clear it was not going away. Fingers crossed, holding your breath to see which direction it goes.
Right,
and how fast. So we're right smack in the middle of what was the mandatory evacuation zone. So from the day the fire started, for about the following 5 or 6 weeks, we were inaccessible.
Well, I love too that once you guys did get back open, of course, the goal is to get back to business and get the business running, but you guys didn't just go for that goal. You also set out to help the community, collect donations.
Yeah. So of course, right when we got open, one of the priorities was like, how do we help? So one of the first things we did, we reached out to a bunch of brands that I had relationships with throughout my career, and they answered the call and went above and beyond. We got hundreds and hundreds of units of blow dryers and styling products and brushes and shampoos, conditioners, just things to help people feel normal and good again. Giving your family, your kids, yourself a semblance of normalcy,
right,
makes it worth it.
Right. And the big thing you mentioned the relief effort and the recovery. We're still in the early stages of that.
Yeah.
So your business is afloat, but this whole region has a whole recovery path ahead of us, and needs the support still.
Yeah. And there's a lot that's still unknown. We know the Palisades will be rebuilt, the homes will be rebuilt, the businesses will be rebuilt. By who, for who, and what will they look like?
Right.
Will it be the same?
There's a lot of different elements drawing them here.
Yeah.
Hopefully that spirit keeps most of the heart of this community coming back.
And we've seen a lot of that. I think it speaks a lot to like how special and unique the Palisades is, that so few people are willing to walk away. So it's been real nice to see.
And I love too that they get to come to a place like this, again, this incredible salon that you've put your heart and soul into, and it really is, truly amazing with so many nice spaces. Can we see more of it and take a look outside?
Absolutely.
So Pete, how did you know to come back? Well, to discover all of this was still here.
Yeah, I didn't know for a while. There was so much mixed reporting going on, and we're all checking our phones, but watching this all from home was just a little too uncomfortable. I had to check on my business. I had to check on my mom's house. I had to kind of see it for myself. So I was here the next day, the day after the fire started. One of the first spots I checked was here, just quick drive-by, buildings there, great, on to the next. I had probably a list of 20 addresses of friends of mine that had been texting me, hey, if you get in, can you check my house? And that was a emotional experience. I only got to tell one of them that their home was still there.
Oh, wow.
I knew the severity of it. We were going to be closed for a while. So I came in to get my scissors. Wasn't as easy as I thought. We had no power. It's a controlled access building. After convincing the National Guard to let me climb onto my own roof with a ladder and break in through the balcony, I was able to get some of my stuff out and see a few clients in the following weeks, go do some house calls, and try to stay busy and feel a little normal.
Is the community coming back?
They have. The community's come back faster than we anticipated, and as far as that normal, it's the new normal. It feels, surprisingly, the clients were back quicker than we thought. Something to take themselves out of the the doom and gloom they've been in every day since this all started.
I just love it. Pete, I love your spirit. I love your light. I love what you do for your community. The wood burned, but not the community. And the people that make community amazing. Well, it's people like you.
Well, thank you. And yeah, it's stronger in the Palisades than anywhere I've ever felt it.
Well, that's why we are the city of angels.
Absolutely.
Angels like you that make a difference.
Thank you guys for coming out. I'm happy to share the experience.
So powerful. Yeah. Thank you, Pete. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing us here.
Isn't that amazing that Peter's able to keep his doors open, and in a community full of incredible pain and loss, Peter keeps the door open for beauty, an opportunity to feel beautiful at his salon. Well, as I walk by here, I see a cage. The cage lets me think about the animals and what happened to the animals during these great fires. Well, Tara is going to help us to explore that. Tara's connected us with Brent at Cal Fire, who is one of the heroes. You probably heard about Brent and the little doggy Oreo that he helped to save. Let's go visit with Tara now, and let's visit with Brent and learn about a little more about the pets and what happened with them.
Scott, thanks for inviting me down to LA to see all of this. And today we're going to talk to Brent from Cal Fire, because as I was on the drive over here, I'm looking at all of the devastation. It reminded me of the 2017 Tubbs fire we had in Santa Rosa. And one of the things I really cared about then, and I care about now, is what happened to the pets.
Exactly.
So we're going to go talk to Brent right now. I can't wait for you to hear the story.
We're all looking for somewhere to be found. Steady place.
Brent, thank you so much for joining us today. We, of course, know about the big LA fire, and here in Pacific Palisades in particular. And I heard this crazy story about Casey and Tika and Oreo. So I'm really interested to hear your perspective on what happened that night. I know that you came to help, so tell us what happened.
Yeah, this was during the first day of the fire. We were down by PCH, and that's where I met Casey. He described that he had to evacuate and that his 2 dogs were left behind in the house. So as an animal lover, and seeing that fire, the way it was moving, I was just like, these dogs are gonna be trapped here. Yeah. There's no way out of this thing. So I drove up here, and I could just see the smoke coming through the trees, and I knew the fire was close. But I could hear them barking. I knew they were inside. I got through the front door, and the dogs were hiding. So I just knew they were in this back bedroom. The electricity then went out. So I was like, okay, it's getting time to leave. I was able to get Tika, the older dog, to come with me at first, and that's what sparked Oreo's interest. I tried to grab her. She bit me a couple times and then just went running. Knowing that we didn't have much time, I grabbed Tika and we headed back out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And how does that feel, knowing that you have to leave the dog behind?
It felt terrible. I thank God they found Oreo alive. But, when I came back up here, all the houses around here were on fire. And I was like, at least I gave Oreo a chance.
Yeah, not only did you give him a chance, but he did survive.
Yes, I almost couldn't believe it, because if you look around here, all we have is chimneys standing, but he's a survivor. I was overjoyed. It was unbelievable. It makes it a feel-good story. I love it.
Yeah, for sure. And moments like this, I think, helps us realize what's important in life, and it isn't things.
Right, it isn't the material things. It's lives.
Thank you so much for sharing your story.
You're very welcome.
It's incredible, isn't it? I mean, it's just incredible. I mean, it's the heroes in life that makes this city so special. Thank you for being such an incredible hero to the city of Los Angeles.
Oh, it's my honor. It's been an honor to be able to do this and have a happy ending.
I gotta say, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Gosh.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome, Tara. Thank you.
I appreciate you meeting with us.
Well, that was incredible. He's incredible.
Yeah, that was an amazing story. I love the hope. I love the resilience. And my friend Tyler Rich is in town. He's on tour, and he also has a love of animals. Let's go talk to him and maybe check out his concert tonight.
Oh, I love that.
Let's go.
After you.
Tyler, thank you you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. It's
How
awesome
does
you
it
guys are
feel
here.
to be back in your home state with new music, a new tour? You got a lot going on.
Yeah, it's the best. I spent all of last year putting together the Hello California album, and to get to spend the first 2 weeks of the Hello California tour on the West Coast is super special. And just seeing all these fans just singing all these words so far, this album has just been freaking insane. It's only been out for 3 weeks. And
Yeah, I've been obsessed with it all 3 weeks. I know all the songs by heart already.
It's amazing. I can't stop listening.
We had it on repeat.
Thank you very
yeah,
much.
It was great. And I know that you and Sabina live part-time in Nashville and part-time in LA. So how did it feel when you saw the fires?
I mean, fires always suck, right? I come from Northern California where we are plagued by wildfires, but this one, I mean, was like literal hell on earth, right? It's just a peak feeling of just like helplessness. Just watching one of your favorite places burn down, and it's just devastating. It's brutal.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I know we both share a deep love for animals and people reuniting with their pets after the fires or during the fires. And I know that you use your platform to shine a light on shelter animals. Can you tell us more about Rich Rescues?
Yeah, so Rich Rescues is my little pride and joy. I love animals with my whole heart. So we created Rich Rescues as a touring initiative where, as long as we have time in our crazy schedule, the goal is usually 1 or 2 shelters a week, and just raising awareness to the fans in that city. There's so many cool, unique things that amazing people in these communities are doing. And so just letting our fans know about it and how they can help. We showcase the special case animals, the dog that's been returned 3 times, the dog that's got 3 legs but is faster than all the other dogs. And I actually got my dog Yukon from a Rich Rescues visit. Yeah, he's been with us for about 3 years now, and it's, yeah, super sweet.
And I just love what you do.
Thank
you for making such a difference.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.
Wow.
It's gonna be a fun show. Let's do it.
Let's go.
No matter what the fires take from us, they can't take away our compassion. And thanks to people like Brent and Tyler, the reunions keep happening, the hope keeps growing, and the music, well, that plays on. I'm gonna go find Scott. We're gonna watch the rest of this concert.
This has been an incredible episode. We started with Marissa, we explored with Matt, we explored with Lloyd, all about the redevelopment of community, about businesses. Tara brought us to one of the heroes of the fire itself with Brent. And look at that concert we just got to become a part of. This, in fact, is the City of Angels. This is where angels come together, and it really matters where you live. And I'm so glad that you live here in the city, making our city amazing. Until next time, I'm Scott Griffin, your host. Bye.